Right, a topic that is discussed quite often, but maybe not quite in depth as you might like it, is cornering, and actually taking the corner correctly, because as you see in Supercross and Motocross, Ricky Carmichael's cornering speed is phenomenal. Duncan Dungey, you know the guy, his speed is phenomenal through corners. So, you know, each corner, if you shave off a quarter of a second, this and that, or whatever it is, that's time. Now, Brian's going to show us the correct way of going through a corner, you know, where your body position must be, and the quickest way to exit it. Brian, if you can go through it, first of all, and tell us your feelings on saving time and corner speed, and what your feeling is about it.
Well, you know, as always, there's two ways of going through a corner. The one is a flat type of corner. You know, there's no berm or no rut that you can actually fight. There's no force that you can fight against.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's the big rail berm or rut type situation where you've actually got something to ride against with the side of the tire. So, you know, in this situation over here, what we're going to talk about is a typical berm type section.
Yes.
And, you know, as always, you want to come into the corner standing up. And when you get to about the apex, which is just at about halfway, if not a little bit further than halfway, you want to sit down. You want to sit down as far forward as possible because you want to load the front wheel up to get maximum traction on the front wheel. And you of course want to get your leg out nice and straight. If you leave your leg dangling, the risk of, you know, ripping your ACL is pretty big. So, you know, it's all one smooth move. And again, it's practice. You know, everything's about practice. So go out and go and practice this, practice it. So we're going to always go from the outside to the inside and back to the outside again. So we're going to go from the outside. We're going to be standing. We're going to stand all the way until about the apex. When we get to the apex, we're going to sit all the way up front on the tank, leg out nice and straight away look out the corner and start getting on the gas. So the principle that we want to do here is, as you're braking into the corner, you're going to sit down on the tank, or right up near the front of the tank, and as you start letting go of the brake, you're going to start accelerating on the accelerator. So it's almost the progression from leaving the brake to the accelerator is a natural progression. So
synergy of it, yes.
And as always, you want to look through the corner. So we want to look out the exit of the corner, and but the biggest thing at the actual apex is you want to load up the suspension, and as we load up the suspension, we're going to get on the gas and it'll start releasing and start getting the traction onto the back wheel.
100%. But that's a good point you brought up there. When you're at the apex, I've never thought about this. Where are your eyes? Are they at the exit or are they still in the corner?
Yeah, from the entry to the corner, you want to be looking at the apex.
Okay.
As you start getting towards the apex, you already want to start moving your head to where you want to go. Remember, you'll go where you're looking and where your head is faced. So in this situation, we're going to look at the apex. As we're coming in standing, you want to sit down. And as we start exiting, or as we start going from the apex, you want to start already looking out the corner. So it's one move. As your body starts turning, your head starts turning, you know, before the time.
100%. A quick one more thing I was thinking about as you said it. Your leg that you put out, is that a counterbalancer as well?
It's actually not so much a counterbalance. All it is if you do lose the front end. So in other words, if you don't load up the front wheel enough, it's obviously there to protect you from, you know, it's like a third wheel.
ACL, okay, yeah.
So you know, you always want to have that third wheel situation. But in a situation where we've got a berm, we want to lean the bike over as much as possible. So lean the bike over as much as possible, and we've got a force to fight now by using the rut or the berm.
I hear you.
And the more you lean over the bike, the faster you can go through the corner.
Okay.
And you know, I'm sure we'll go into more detail on how to do a flat turn, but obviously there you're pushing the bike down and you on the outside of the bike, so you'll be weighting the outside peg, but I'm sure we'll go into that in another time.
Perfect, that's excellent. Very important. And this might not be efficiency, although it would be considered a part efficiency, but this is more about time saving, isn't it?
Time saving and making sure that you don't fall off. You know, if you don't load up that front wheel, you're gonna lose the front end. So, you know, it's all about, yeah, for sure, it's about saving energy, saving time, but more about, you know, not hurting yourself. You know, so get the technique right. And, you know, thankfully we've got these type of videos where you can actually learn from it. So take that, watch it 10-15 times,
yes,
and then go out and practice and just over and over and over 100%. Again, and before you know it, you know, the compound effect of that will be pretty big.
Good. I know Chad Reed watches a lot of these videos on teaching, so hopefully he gets into this and he can get quicker through the corner.
Hopefully.
Going into the corner, Brian is showing us how we all do it. I most certainly did do it that way. Okay, I don't know what he's looking at in the bush over there, but it's just showing you, we average riders, we always do that because we think it's not an important part of the ride. Well, I did in any case. But when you start seeing how it's done correctly, like that, you can see how quick and efficient it makes it look. very interesting thing is the standing up and coming into it, as Brian explained to us. That gives you such an advantage. And it's so logical when you listen to the explanation on where your eyes must be and how your weight must be distributed going into that. I think that's vitally important. As you're looking at Brian's eyes there, you can see exactly as he said, you've got to be looking out.